All right. What is popping party pundits? We are in for another episode of Pop Talk. It's your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on for the Casual Rand,
What up, though?
Boston Jared,
Peace.
and Coach Dave. All right, so we want to jump right in, and this week is going to be one of those special segments where we talk about all things Haney Lomachenko. First, we want to talk about how the actual fight played out, who was able to implement the game plan, and who had the better tactics. And then at the latter end, we're going to kind of talk about the scoring. And we feel that this was, in fact, a just decision for Devin Haney, who won a unanimous decision on the scorecards. It was. So one judge had it 116 to 112, and the two other judges had it 115 to 113. All right, so let's talk about how the fight played out. This was I call it high-speed chess. I thought that this was one of the better examples of kind of the highest level of boxing when it comes to tactics, when it comes to skills, and even with coaching with some of the adjustments. But let's start with Boston Jared, and tell me, when you were watching the fight live, how did you kind of see this fight developing?
When I was watching this fight live, I was nervous that Devin Haney was not going to get the benefit of the doubt in the close rounds. I thought that almost every single round, with the exception of a couple, were very, very, very competitive and were very, very tough to score. And I did not think that in a lot of the rounds, Devin did enough to clearly separate himself enough to not get robbed. Again, that my concern going into the fight was that Devin Haney was going to have to show clear separation and dominance in order to get the benefit of a decision. I did not think that he would get the benefit of the close rounds, that even though he deserved them as the undisputed champ, I did not think he would get. That being said, Devin Haney was able to come out and really, really do what I had suggested he do: get on his front foot, control the real estate, and get to Lomachenko's body. As the fight went on, Lomachenko did a good job of adjusting, especially when it came to neutralizing Devin Haney's jab. And he also did a good job of tagging Devin Haney. Devin Haney, because he grew up idolizing Floyd Mayweather, he loves to fight with this lead hand down and that hand across his body like that. And Lomachenko made him pay for it the same way he made Teofimo Lopez pay for it. With really crisp, hard jabs that he was able to land. I don't want to say consistently, because he didn't land them throughout the course of the fight, but he was able to land them late, and he was able to, at the very least, sway the court of public opinion. And that's why we've got a lot of this controversy and outrage from a lot of people in the boxing world that you've been hearing from Sunday and Monday. I don't want to talk too much, man. I want to go get into it. I want to have this be more of a conversation, honestly, because I'm curious. We had the pre-production was a good conversation, so I don't want to talk too much.
Well, I mean, I thought Haney came out with the wrong tactic at first. I thought that this could have been an easier fight. I thought when he came in, I thought that he gave away his hype. He didn't fight big. When I was watching Haney's previous fights, I mean, I watched a few of them. We always say it was like, how's he gonna get past that jab, man? How's he gonna get past that jab? He didn't have to worry about that. Like, Haney gave up his height, he gave up distance, Maybe it was to do body work, but I thought that he made this a harder fight than it actually should have been.
That's what it looked like. I agree with that to an extent. But I tell you what, if he did not press forward the way he was pressing forward and dictating the pace when he was pressing forward, I don't know. That 1 round or 2 rounds that he won by, we might be looking at a draw or a decision the other way if he had not dictated the pace of the fight the way he did on his front foot. If he had planted his feet in the center of the ring and turned it into a center of the ring type of chess match with Loma, I think he might have lost. So I agree with what you're saying. He did give up, but he sacrificed that jab in order to be able to land those looping rights around the guard of Loma. And that uppercut that he did landed a couple times. It was the body work that he really clearly see. Body work was what they had worked on all camp, and he was willing to do whatever he had to get to that body.
Like you saying, Haney developed that body work. Man, Loma had that lead left, finding a home. Late into the fight, man.
Too late. It was too late.
Not
too late.
Lead left. You're right.
But he was rocking. He started rocking with that.
Nah, it was a lead left. Loma's a southpaw, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So lead left. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Cam said not a lead left. I thought it was a lead left.
No, I mean I thought you were talking about as like the lead hand, but I see.
No, like the lead left, like as opposed to 1, 2, as opposed to
he's just coming down the pipe.
Just 2 right down the pipe.
I was like, man, why ain't you doing so? Just step back if you know what I'm saying. If he start using his height and his reach.
That's what I was saying, Dave. Can you, Dave? What I thought he hurt his hand. Can you give us any kind of insight on why we didn't see a straight right hand against the southpaw, especially with all the height and the reach and the way Loma was able to dart in and out at times? Why do we not see the straight right hand or the uppercut?
You're on mute, Dave.
You're muted, Dave. Oh boy! Sorry, audience. We old coach here is having a senior moment. But yeah, did y'all not think? Did y'all not think?
I mean, I agree with y'all saying, man. He shrunk down to make it to Loma's height, and then he just let Loma just come in with that lead left, and I was like, come on, you the bigger man. And then like there was some times that Loma put the matrix on him. And
he did.
Find him. He was inside, and Haney couldn't do anything.
Man,
so I was like, I'm seeing signs of the matrix.
I'm glad you said that, because if you one of these Negro fight fans,
am I live?
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't know, man.
Even though your thing is still crossed out, your mic is still crossed out, but whatever, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, look, so my junk is jacked all up, man. So at least I hope y'all got me audio, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the fight, in a nutshell, both of them, great job. I think both of them were trying to stick to their game plan. I got a little bit of upset with Haney's corner, just simply because, you fighting a southpaw, and anytime you fighting a southpaw, man, if you can get that brick hand to the body as much as he was, throw more than one combinations. Just like you got on a 1, 2, 3 combination on the outside, a 2, 3, whatever on the outside, you got combinations that you can throw on the inside. And if Haney would have put about 2 punches together or 3 punches together while he was on that inside work, I would have loved to see him come off that body and then turn that stuff up right up to the chin. No different than what Tyson used to do sometimes. And if you go back and watch that fight again, you'll see even more so how much Loma was open for that doggone round his guard to the body and then right up to the chin. That whole lead left, especially when he doubled it up in terms of for Loma, was masterful, but it was just a little too late. I think Haney didn't throw his right hand as much because somebody said he was focused on that body, But what I did like is whenever he would turn with Lomo, and somebody earlier said that Haney didn't do anything to totally separate it. I think he did a lot of things to separate himself, and I think it was Lomo that didn't do anything. Haney was turning with this man, and then when he turned with him, you know, his corner was telling him, shoot that brick hand out there, you know, as you turn with him. Then of course, with the body work, man, just phenomenal. And Haney's movement and agility took away a whole lot of that matrix stuff. It might have happened sometime. I mean, it's Lomo, it's gonna, but it did not happen as much as he would have needed it to happen to really win that fight, brother. So Haney absolutely, I think, separated himself, and in terms of where Lomo didn't. But the key thing I want to say to y'all is that on that inside, man, when you busting them internal organs, man, you bringing that thump, you got to put some combinations together, especially if that brick hand is landing so flush and pretty. Go ahead on and stand up in that thing and get a little bit more, man. I mean, push his navel up to his chest, get that man 3 nipples, make him piss cricket. I think that Haney could have hurt this man a whole lot more had he done combinations on that inside, man.
You saw signs of it in the middle of the fight, I thought, where Loma, being the experienced, wily guy that he was, did a very, very good job of disguising how much some of those body shots were bothering him. Because there were a couple times where he's a guy that likes to be on his toes. Yeah, there were a couple times I said, ooh, if Haney keeps this up, he might have a good chance of stopping this guy, because I think some of these, even though, like you said, Dave, they were just onesies and not even twosies, just single shots. You could tell Devin Haney, he was sitting all the way down on them shots. You could tell they worked on it, and them shits bothered him. I will say, though, I was a little bit alarmed that if I'm a Devin Haney fan, I would definitely be a little bit concerned at how well Lomachenko was able to deal with those clean, hard shots that Haney was able to land, especially given the size advantage that Devin Haney had. I don't know going forward, especially at 135, if he's going to have the power to be able to compete with the other top 2-3 guys in the division. But I don't want to go there just yet. But I was surprised at how well Loma was able to deal with some of that power.
Let me push back on it just a little bit, man. Now, just go back to the whole impetus of what I was saying that he should have done. Okay, if you hit me, hey, I might take that. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're gonna wait in a whole another while. We're gonna circle the ring, and then we're gonna do something else, man. Yo, you're gonna throw ring. It lasts longer, bro.
Okay, here we go.
So I wouldn't take away from power yet, but I would just dog him on not consistently putting them twins together and shooting them combinations on the inside. And then you can do your little bit. You know, he was popping them one time and we moved around. You know what I'm saying? So look, I think the boy gonna go back and look at it, and I think he's gonna be hit. And I'm telling you now, Shakur Stevenson, if Haney go back and look at this fight, the way we looked at it, the way so many people may have supposedly said, I looked at it, yeah, Haney won, Shakur Stevenson better not step on this guy. Now, Shakur might get him because Shakur just punches in a bunches of combinations, man. That boy throw a lot of punches, and Haney ain't gonna like that.
Yeah, I think Haney's in trouble when it comes to those because so this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing somebody who was throwing single shots, wasn't throwing combinations. I think Loma landed the more telling combination. And we were talking about cleaner, harder punches. I'm not sure if they were actually that hard. I think we can kind of react to it, but we never saw Loma slow down. In the 12th round, Loma threw 55 punches. The 11th round, he threw 50 punches. In the 10th round, he threw 49. The 9th round, he threw 48. The 8th round, he threw 47. And for Haney,
a lot of them punches were own punches, though, Cam. Go back and look at the stats. He threw all them punches, but he only landed like 5 or 6 more punches than Devin Haney landed.
That's not true. That's not true. And
how many more punches did he land?
I'm looking at the stats. So Haney.
Before you hit the box record, though, before you even hit the box record, Lomo puts people on their ass and makes people stop because he's on his damn bicycle and he's moving and he's throwing all those punches. He only could throw those punches straight forward with Devin, and a lot of them was not really hitting solid. He didn't have that damn bicep and make it because that body work slowed his old ass down. Period.
Yeah. And it
slow him down. Like Haney in 2 of the last 3 rounds, Haney threw 20 punches. 20. He threw in the 10th round. He threw 25. In the 11th round, he landed 2 of 28.
But I'm saying get off the punches. Okay, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But Loma normally is doing this. 1, 2. I done moved 3, 4.
Yeah, but
move.
Your coach, you're breaking up.
Matrix was unplugged.
Yeah, but listen, the Matrix shouldn't work against the top level fighder, right?
He said the Matrix was unplugged.
Yeah,
Dave, hook your phone up to your home
Matrix
internet because you're Dave, you're all right. Yeah, Cam just sent you a message. You breaking up bad.
What I'm saying is that if you don't expect him, but I saw him and we just talked about it. Rand just said that he got put in the Matrix a couple of times, but you don't. For example, this was a more impressive showing against Haney than it was against Jermaine Ortiz. Like I went and watched that fight. Like I'm kind of surprised he got that decision.
Well, but Jermaine Ortiz is a sparring partner. Jermaine Ortiz is sparring.
It doesn't matter. Ortiz
it does matter.
Ortiz fought big. He fought big, and he controlled him with the jab. I thought when I watched it, I was like, Haney's gonna watch this fight, and he's gonna capitalize upon those things. And I didn't see that at all.
Well, but Devin don't fight like Jermaine Ortiz, one, and Jermaine Ortiz has the advantage of having fought countless numbers of rounds with Lomachenko, as he's used to everything that he does in real time, not just watching the shit on film. I mean, Jermaine Ortiz has spent real time getting hit by Loma.
But that goes both ways. That goes both ways. I mean, there's a reason, because I was wondering, why are you going to choose this undefeated? And Ortiz is a big guy, but why wouldn't Haney got the decision. He fought, but why wouldn't he fight big during those times?
Well, for one, he don't have a real. He apparently has got 7 different trainers in that camp. I don't know how much of a voice those 7 guys have, but he is lacking in several departments. So I think that might be the answer to your question. I think he's lacking a single solitary authoritative voice in that camp. And if that single authoritative voice is Pop Bill Haney, he doesn't need to be that guy anymore, because he's reached the limits of what he can coach his kid on. He needs a serious trainer who can tell him, give him the advice that you just gave. Right? I don't know if he's getting that guidance in camp. He's certainly not getting the shit in fight, because his corner was, and I was very, very surprised for Yoel Judah just to be there to be the spit bucket guy. I know that he's his godfather or whatever, but Yoel Judah at the very least has got big fight experience through his kid. And there was no tactical advice that was given by the corner that I was able to hear. I don't know if y'all listened to it live and heard anything worthwhile. I didn't. So I think that's the answer to your question, Cam.
I heard. I'm trying to think of it now. I did hear some tactical advice. I'm trying to think. Was it the actual right advice? But I did hear some kind of tactics that they wanted him to employ between rounds, and I'll try to think about it. But I mean, a lot of it was just this encouragement too, right? It was just like, you busting them up, you winning, and
that's that Teofimo Senior motivational. Tunde Ajayi is another one. Like, now, tell me what to do.
Yeah,
because Loma,
I remember
was able to adjust.
It was like the 9th round. In between the 9th round, the dad was like, "Yeah, you winning this, and I was like, "Man,
what the hell? Yeah,
that's not good corner advice," because he went on and lost the 10th and 11th.
Yeah,
everybody here says
that just means that he was
10th and 11th, he lost.
No, I mean, that just means that he was winning it.
But you don't tell your fighter that. Not in a fight like that. You have got to go out there and fight every single round like you down.
Because I honestly believe if Loma would have pulled, if he would have just kept on the gas and won the 12th, I think this would be a whole kind of different conversation.
Well, it'll be a majority draw. I mean, if he would have won the 12th, because I believe everybody gave Haney the 12th round. Right. But
yeah, well, Loma, with all his experience and all his amateur pedigree, he decided to take the 12th round off.
He did not.
The biggest fight of his life.
He did not take the 12th round off.
That's what
he threw the highest number of punches he threw.
They asked him after the fight, and he said with his own mouth that I took the 12th round off because I thought I was ahead. Mistake.
He know better than that.
Punches.
Look, he didn't take the round off. I said it before. I hope that my internet is working. The matrix was unplugged from them body shots, and all fighters gonna make up an excuse. He did not take that round off. He lost that round. Devin beat him.
But
I agree. I'm just telling you what Loma said. That's what he said.
Loma lying.
He is almost as good at making excuses as he is at finding all those angles, because he sure does. He's got a real list of excuses.
Where is this narrative coming from? Where is this narrative?
Where's this what narrative coming from? After he lost to Teofimo Lopez, he had all kind of excuses, and he lost to Salido.
Well,
he had all kind of excuses.
He got shoulder surgery, like essentially after he lost to Teofimo.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but
there go your title. Devin Haney unplugs the matrix.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't. This was a controversial decision, and we'll kind of talk about that, right? I think that Teofimo is not the same fighter, but I think that I thought he fought a better fight than, for one thing, he controlled Loma with the jab, even though he's not as long and as tall. He's a more powerful puncher, and I think that part of that was Teofimo gave him a lot more respect. Than Devin Haney, because
that's what it was.
Because that first round was he might as well have been I'm talking about against Teofimo Lopez. Like, he might as well have been somebody in the crowd. Like,
the first eight rounds.
He did nothing.
The first 8 rounds, he didn't get going until the last third of the fight, and he had the nerves to sit there and talk about he thought he did enough. Like, my nigga, like, you wilding right now. Now, you ain't throw a punch for 5 rounds. Well, like I said last week, I said, hey, Devin is gonna come out and get respect early, because Lomachenko was not gonna have that same respect that he had for Teo, because he's not going to respect Devin's power. He going to have to earn it. And in a lot of ways he did, right? Like Dave pointed out, Lomachenko is doing his best work at medium to close range, throwing combination punches. And I believe his fear of those body shots limited him to a pot shot fighter. What you saw him reduced to was kind of a single punch, counter puncher. He would punch onesies and twosies. Wasn't until the 10th round where you saw him really start putting punches together. And as soon as Devin started punching with him, which he should have been doing the entire fight, Haney backed off again. And like Dave said in that 12th round, he said, no. I'd rather let the judges decide this, because if I get caught with something here, given the state I'm in, I think he might have been concerned about going down.
I thought part of it was, I think he thought he had Haney hurt in the 11th round, and I think he went after it, because he landed 20 out of 50 punches, which was easily the highest number of punches landed in any of the rounds for either fighter. Haney was anemic in the 11th round. He landed 2 out of 28 punches. So that just sounds like he was kind of, so I think Loma kind of went for it, and I think he might have kind of blew his load.
You think he might have punched himself out, huh?
I think he might have punched with any kind of authority in there, right? I think that he was throwing his punches in there, but I don't think that he was able to sit down or put anything. I think he tried to take him out in the 11th round.
And just gassed, huh? Yeah, that could have been part of it, but like Dave said, your gas tank and your body work are directly proportional, right? The more and more, like Teddy Atlas says, the more water you put in that basement with them body shots, the less legs, the less gas tank you gonna have later in the fight. And those body shots paid dividends. They really did.
And I put that in the chat too, like right in the beginning, because I saw you. Devin's plan was obvious right off the bat. It was off the bat, and y'all go back and look at the chat. I said those body work is gonna pay down. It's gonna pay off down the road. And I'm telling you, man, the guys
didn't get paid off.
He won the fight.
The guy's footwork wasn't there. The matrix wasn't there. Them little pity pat punches, you know what I'm saying? He and that joker looking like my damn little niece, Miss Mary Matt.
I agree with that, Dave. And I don't want to bleed into the next segment here because we're going to talk about the officiating. All the oohing and on, the fucking dick pulling from Tim Bradley was at an all-time high. I'm surprised that he didn't have bloody hands at the end of that fight, the way he was pulling Lomachenko's dick. Every single punch this guy threw, Tim Bradley looked like he was gonna ejaculate on himself. And Devin Haney caught the majority of those shots. Yeah, one or two may have slipped in, but Devin Haney was able to change levels. He was able to catch a lot of those shots. And when Lomachenko tried to get to that weak side and step around, Devin Haney turned right with him. And guess what? When I'm scoring the fight, defense is 25% of the scoring criteria. When you're able to neutralize the other guy's defense or offense, that is credit for you defensively. And I think defensively overall, Devin Haney outperformed Lomachenko. But we'll get more into that when we talk about the scoring. Because that to me, unfortunately, has really overshadowed what was a very, very good boxing match, right? And especially for the casuals. I was out at Public, out in DC, and there were a whole lot of casuals, and they were into it, right? And this wasn't some rock'em sock'em robots, blood and guts type of fight. This was, like Cam said, high-speed chess, and people were locked in. They were really, really watching it. But unfortunately, the judging has been more of a subject of discussion than the actual fight itself, which I think is unfortunate.
I think Tim Bradley want to date Lomo. That's why he was.
We want to do more than just date Lomo. I don't want to get us flagged. We're just a fledgling little show here. I don't want to get I don't want to get too inappropriate. But he gonna have to fight Paulie Malignaggi for that though. I don't know if Tim want that smoke because Paulie might. I think Paulie really want to do something with Loma.
So why do you think that? I mean, before we go on to the judges, so why do you think that the consensus of the people who were at the fight and who viewed the fight, why do you think that they had Loma almost unanimously winning that fight?
Because they watch it from the 9th and 10th row, and they checking their Twitter, and the crowd is oohing and on and all that shit. If
you at home, you listen to the commentary. I mean, it was biased as hell.
It was.
And that's the bad. And Haney went in as the bad guy. You pushing Lomo, here's Lomo. This joker, went over there and fought for his country, and God bless him for that. And now he's back, and then and Devin, pushing him, and and it's all about.
When was the last time a person who got did the pushing got fined? They didn't fine Canelo when he pushed Plant.
Right. Well, they didn't find Caleb when he didn't find Danny Jacobs when he pushed Canelo either. So I don't think they
didn't find Tank when
Tank almost threw Rolly off the goddamn
with Rolly. So I mean, it was just so many like
that was out of character for Devin Haney.
The bias of this fight, man. So
yeah, it was. I think that's the answer to your question, Cam. All these guys, they watching from wherever they sitting at. And
well, not just all these guys. Like we were on the chats, right? And everybody except for Coach, I didn't necessarily. I thought it was a close fight, but we were giving the fight to Loma.
Again, and I go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm never watching a fight with emotions and all that stuff. I'm looking at those things we getting ready to get into. I'm literally looking at those 4 things we getting ready to get into. And that's why I was so staunch and steadfast in my convictions that Haney beat that man. Haney beat that man.
Let me just clarify, because we talked a little bit about this in the pre-pro. My position going into this fight was that Devin Haney was going to have to really, really separate himself in order to get the benefit of the doubt in this fight. I thought he was going to have to do to Lomachenko what Bivol did to Canelo in order to get the benefit of the doubt in this fight. And with so many close competitive rounds, I was concerned that he would not get the benefit of the doubt. Happily, I was wrong. And I think that this fight was judged fairly. It was judged impartially, and when it was judged accurately. Devin Haney got the benefit of the doubt in most of, if not all of, the close rounds, not only because he earned that with the cleaner, harder punches, the effective aggression, and the defense. I think Loma overall did better with the ring generalship overall. But also, Devin Haney is the undisputed champ. And to take the belt from the champ, you can't just go in there and just squeak out a decision. You have got to really go in there. If anything, as a challenger, you have got to show that separation in order to lift them belts, not just one, all four, off of the champ. And Lomachenko, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Man, I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. That's just kind of
about what?
That you have to, as far as somebody the champ, then they automatically are kind of they're fighting with an advantage, like they're up on 1 point. Like,
well, you don't have to agree with it, but that's the way you don't think that that's the way that boxing has been for years and years and years and years. I mean, I didn't make that up.
Well, I think with I like what George Foreman says is that, when you are fighting a championship fight, like once that bell rings, you're just as much the champion as the champion is, because the belt is up for grabs. I don't think maybe it is that way. I don't think it necessarily should be, but there is human error, and I think that comes into play. But if that was a notion, then I don't think we would ever have any upsets. I don't think that you would get a Harrison beating a Charlo, for example. But let's go ahead with our last. Let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, which is we're going to talk about the boxing. We're going to talk about the boxing criteria, and then we're going to talk about the judges' scorecards.